So thanks for joining me on my review of the Mamas and Papas Baby Snug. So I'll start off quickly with just an overview of the actual product, like dimension, weight, etc. And then I'll go into an actual review, sort of mentioning where we got it from, my thoughts and feelings, and any pros and cons, because I've had it now for over a year. My son's been thoroughly using it, and he's just stopped using it now. He's just sort of turned 17 months. Etc. And then I'll do a brief comparison to the other, or the probably most well-known baby positioner out there, or baby seat for use on the floor or a flat surface, which is the Bumbo. Okay, now I'll start off with showing you the packaging, which is always useful as well if you are purchasing it online or if you're actually giving it as a present. It's kind of nice to know sort of how it's actually packaged. Now this is sort of how it comes. As you can see, it's a fairly large box, and I apologise, this is going to be in reverse or mirror image, but I'll put any photos throughout the video anyway, as well as on my blog, and I'll link that below. So pretty much that's it. So gross weight is about 2.69 kilos, or net weight, which is 2.12 kilos, but I'll put that in pounds down in the description box, as well as every sort of detail I go over in here. Dimensions, it's about 43.5 by 43.5 sort of centimeters by 25 centimeters. Okay, now let's open the box. Okay, I've literally just taken it out. Now there are actually three colours. There's a teal, a green, and a pink, which is like a deep or fuchsia pink. And let's see, I've actually got the teal. And you see there's a white base. The colour is the actual pad, or the padding, which you can remove. And there's the white tray, which obviously matches the base. Now, if you've seen something like the Bumbo, or if you've got the Bumbo, you've been looking at the Bumbo. It's actually just the moulded foam, so there's the base, or the seat is just the one piece, and then you get the separate plastic tray. Now this, as you can see, is different. It does have a hard plastic base, and then you can take out the seat. Now the idea behind the removable seat is that you start using it when the baby can actually support its own head, and that was when my son was about 4 months old. They say generally about 3 months, but he was about 4 months when he started using it, when he could support his head. And then you take the seat out when they're approximately 12 months old, or obviously when it's not comfortable for them to sit in the seat, and it pretty much just supports them. You don't have to have the tray all the time. There is this support there, so they don't sort of tip out of it, and it is hard. It's not bendable like the Bumbo, so it doesn't actually bend. It's very secure, and that's actually underneath it there. There's no assembly or anything. There's no attachments, and I think just recently in 2012, the Approx and Bumbo, you need to have a actual seat fastener. Prior to, I believe, August or so 2012, you didn't need to have a harness, but there has been certain, I suppose, incidents that they've now decided to actually incorporate an actual restraint to the Bumbo seat, but this still doesn't have an actual restraint, but because it's so sturdy, the child shouldn't be able to sort of tip out or rock it. But I will actually go over some cons. There are some cons with the actual tray, which I will mention, which could be possible hazards, as well as the fact that you also obviously need to always watch a child when they're in, or supervise a child when they're in the seat, and to always use it on a flat surface and on the floor. This isn't to be used, just like the Bumbo, it's not to be used on elevated surfaces like chairs or tables. So there we go. Obviously, for more information, you can go to the mamasandpapas.com website, which I'll link down below. But pretty much where we got this one from, my husband actually purchased it. He did a little bit of research as well, and he decided to go with this one. And he got this actually from bubsandgrubs.com, I think .au, but I'll put the link down below. So it's a store, online store, or a store in Queensland. we got it. Recommended retail is about $89.95. I mean, you can get it at Baby Bunting for the same price, but I believe he got it for a discount. There was an offer which might still be there as well, but like I said, it's over a year ago, but I'll link that down below. But it's gone through at least so it's gone through about 14 months worth of use. And if you want to use the tray, pretty much you sort of click it down there, and then you can push it into the side. There's a little slots on either side where you click the actual tray into. So most of the time, I have to be honest, when he was using it with the actual pad insert or the seat insert, he had the tray, and I just felt more comfortable to have him in that, so it was a little bit more secure. He also liked to play with his toys on the seat, and also obviously made feeding a lot more easy for him. And as you can see, you can actually take it apart to clean it. You can take out the slots, it slides in on either side, so it's actually like a three-piece, the tray. So there's this one, the main tray itself, and the two side parts which you can pull out sort of there as well. And you don't have to have these ones in, you could also just use this, and it slides in on the actual crotch base there. Yes. Now to the sort of, I suppose, the pros and the cons. Pretty much the pros, like I said, my son got a really good 14 months out of it. As soon as he could support his head, we sort of started using him in here. Useful if, say, we were going over to someone's house, and it was just nice to be able to have him down on the ground. He could sort of look up at everybody and sort of learn to sort of look around and sort of interact. So it was quite good for him, I found, as well as for us. So sometimes you can't always, or it's not always safe to have him sitting on our lap, so that was good. Also good for feeding. Of course, we'd have to get down on the ground for him to feed, but it was just a little bit of a change from, say, having him in a high seat, especially as he got older and a little bit more movable. Sometimes if he was throwing something or dropping something, at least that way it was close to the ground, just for him as well. Again, as he got older, around about the 12-month period, it was a little bit over it, he started using just the seat itself, so we actually took out that base. So it was still just as comfortable for him. It is, as I said, it's actually hard plastic. I'll actually put what it's actually made of down below, and again in the description box. But that's it with the insert out, as you can see. But we had no issues with him rocking once he could sort of crawl and get around. We didn't have any issues with him trying to roll out of it or rock out of it or fall out of it, of course, because the base is sturdy. I physically cannot bend it myself, let alone him. But then again, he's pretty strong, but he couldn't actually bend the seat. And it was also good because this was removable. Inevitably, he got food, drink, whatever, everywhere. And I don't know how they do it, but they managed to get it in the most unlikely places, as you well know, in the cracks, etc. So it was great to be able to take this pad out, give it a good clean, a good scrub, as well as get under the seat. So I did like that as well. And also food would get in here, so it was kind of good to be able to take these parts out. But that leads me into the actual cons as well. It's a good thing that it's not easy to click out, but it was also quite hard for us to sort of get in and out as well when sort of cleaning it. And we noticed over time it started to get a little bit loose, and you can sort of, as you can see, move it around a little bit. I'm not sure if it was because he started to rock on it as well, that one of these pieces snapped. There's actually a couple of sections that it clicks into, and it snapped. It's good there's two sections because it wasn't easy for him to actually pull this out. It's still quite hard for us to get this out because it is pretty sturdy, but it actually weakened obviously the tray and the, I suppose, the stability or security of the actual tray. And also over time, as we found, as he started getting older, I think building up his arm muscles as well once he started to crawl, as he started to actually rock on the actual tray, not the actual seat, the base is secure, but the actual tray. So pretty much what he would do is rock on here. So these are locked in securely. They're not locked in because I'm just showing you, but once he would rock back on here, and after a while these got a little bit loose on the side or easier to pull out. So if he rocks and rocks and rocks and rocks, and because this one was broken, you could actually click it up like this. And by then being at the stage where we can actually sort of get around independently, it was a little bit more, I suppose, hazardous, because if you can get this up, he could probably hurt himself on that, or maybe not tip himself forward, but it would just make it tip himself forward. But it was just a shame because it pretty much made this useless pretty much, because once he started rocking, whatever would go off. Once you could sort of do that, he wasn't interested in having anything like fruit or anything on the tray because he was too busy trying to break this, shall we say, or stretch his muscles. I do like the insert. I love the sturdy base. Love the fact it's easy to clean. It's maybe a little bit of work more on the actual tray, but at no time did I feel it necessary to have a strap or a restraint with this one as well. But like I said, now that he started to walk and get around, his leg muscles, his arm muscles are actually quite good. I no longer feel secure having him even just in the base, because he can by now sort of really get forward and throw himself around. So at that stage, you know, he's no longer secure to have in the seat. And that's pretty much what you'll do if you do get one. It's depending on sort of how big they are, how strong they are, and how much they sort of want to get around. Because he will, no matter what, they'll find a way, a will and a way to sort of get out of some situation. Just watch the connection sort of here, because they can actually rock forward eventually and unclick the tray. Pretty much my review of this product. Quite happy with the price that we paid, because I think we actually got our money's worth out of it. The only thing I do wish as well, as part of a suggestion, is I haven't seen anywhere I can actually buy the tray separately. Maybe there is. If you know, definitely link it below. But I know the Bumbo, you can buy separate trays. It comes with the tray and the restraint now. But if you want to purchase the tray, you can get that separately. I haven't seen that with the Mamas and Papas one. I do like their website though. It seems a little bit more comment and question friendly as opposed to the Bumbo website, so I might actually try and find out if I can get one. It will only be useful if I do have another child. I will be able to reuse this, of course. There's nothing wrong with the seat or the base. I just feel more comfortable if I actually got a separate tray. But thanks guys for watching. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Of course, if you got the Bumbo and you're more than happy with it, leave that below. I'm in no way disrespecting the Bumbo. I'm just happy that I got this one, of course. If you know of a deal going or with the Mamas and Papas or the Bumbo one, leave those details down below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe or like this video. Thank you.